Hello.
Whew, hello.
I have been catching just snippets, Rick. Just snippets. So last week, they did a Tom Brady roast.
Okay.
Oh, I have been catching snippets of it, and I got to watch the whole thing. But Rick, have you seen the snippets?
Like the Comedy Central roast that they do every year?
Yeah, but Netflix did it at the Netflix is a Joke festival.
Okay.
Got Tony Hinchcliffe, who he has Kill Tony.
Ooh, Tony can be brutal.
Oh, he used to work with me, and I've known him a long time. He had some great ones,
Yeah.
So, have you watched it, Rick?
I've watched it twice, actually.
I mean, there's some laugh out loud moments. I mean, it was...
Okay, if you're not a football girl, if you don't watch football, I know who Tom Brady is because he was married to Gisele Bundchen, a Victoria's Secret supermodel. Would I still find it comical?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Well, but I also...
Very pop culture.
It's very pop culture, but I think because it was Tom Brady, that you were able to attract the who's who, right?
Oh, as far as to be on the special?
Oh, yeah. Like Kevin Hart's on it. I mean, Peyton Manning showed up. Like, I mean, it was, a who's who.
Yeah.
So I need to watch it. Kim Kardashian went up and roasted. I mean,
what?
Yeah, it's crazy. I need to watch the whole thing.
I want to see Kim Kardashian tell jokes. Now I'm intrigued.
I will say that I have used my comedic quickness for evil.
What do you mean?
I don't find roasting funny. I think it's funny to watch. I will roast people
We're hanging out drinking.
in a hanging out way like we did with the Yankees, right? But like to brutally go after somebody, I mean, they're talking about
But it's not meant to be brutal. That's the point of a roast.
No, and I'm not mad at it, and I laugh, and it's funny, and I watch it. I'm just saying that it's not my style.
It makes you uncomfortable?
Yeah,
Did Tom seem uncomfortable? Because if the guest, or like the person that's being roasted, the honoree, I guess, seems uncomfortable, then it makes it uncomfortable for everyone.
Kevin Hart literally says, he goes, your wife came up to you and said, you play one more season, and I'm going to leave with the kids. And he goes, I love Tom Brady for saying, fuck the kids, fuck my wife, I got to play football. And you're like, God dang, dude.
Yeah.
You're just like, wow, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that, you saw that, right, Rick?
Yes. And to the point, Tom Brady kind of seems a little on edge at times. However, he may be the best roaster of the evening.
Oh, yeah. So he gets to go back up and
like roast himself?
Well, roast all the panel.
Who does?
Right.
Tom Brady gets back up at the end and roasts the panel.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
So I need to watch it, dude. I heard it was, I mean, the little clips that I saw were funny.
We gotta put the kids to bed early and watch it.
Yeah, maybe we need to watch it. I don't know. But I mean, I think the whole world is fucking watching it. I mean, it seems to be the thing.
Right.
Like
It's on. Did it make the Netflix top 10 like Steve Trevino's Simple Man did?
Yes, and Cat Williams is number 1 right now. I just saw it.
No, the roast is number 1.
Oh, the roast is.
Yeah, thank God. But let me ask you guys something. Did you guys see Unfrosted?
Oh, dude, I watched it. Yes.
I haven't.
Well, not to put you guys totally on the spot, but Seinfeld was saying that comedy, you couldn't do a lot of the comedy that they were doing back in the day because of this woke culture. But
right.
Then when you hear the jokes that are on the roast, these were some of the worst things I've ever heard on TV. Funny, but the worst. Like, do you find yourself, Steve, having to censor yourself at all?
I don't, and I think we've talked about it, but I don't because, my material and where I draw from is wife, kids, family. So I don't really draw from a dark barrel, if you will, or a general barrel. I kind of stay in my lane of, that family, the edgy family, if you will.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know, but
I'd love to finish my thought.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I feel like It's not necessarily because we're in a woke culture, but I do come to you sometimes and be like, I think you should edit that because it sounds misogynistic or whatever. And it's not because of our woke culture. It's just because
Well, we want to get the best message too, right? We do want, again, going back to my brand, right? My brand is not offensive or aggressive, or it's, and my brand has a message. So we want to make sure that that message is being delivered correctly. Renae and I do believe in God, and we do go to church, and we do believe in our family and this country. And we just want to make sure that we stay within that message and be that person, because I don't think that person in America is represented in media.
Well, I was going to say,
so we represent that in media, right? But to finish my thought from earlier.
Yes, I'm sorry. I railroaded you.
I agree, Rick. And it is a huge accomplishment for free speech and for comedy that this Tom Brady roast was as brutal as it was. And it shows people that people want to see it, right? And it is funny. And they are funny. And we should be able to go and say whatever we want, right?
Yeah.
So it's really cool. But Rick, I truly believe that there's a pendulum going on here. I think these comedians had become woke. Oh shit, we went too far, right? And then now the pendulum is starting to come back. One of our biggest allies is Dave Chappelle, and Dave's attitude of "fuck you, I'm not going to apologize." And why is my special not considered art to that woke person? Why is what you do considered art and able to be on Netflix and mine is not? Fuck
right.
you.
You can paint whatever you want, but I can't say whatever I want.
Right.
Yeah.
So I definitely think with strong voices like Chappelle and even Rogan out there, I think that the pendulum is starting to come back.
Yeah. I mean, right? I think the roast probably creates a platform and an atmosphere for that to happen because you are speaking to specific people.
And you're also expecting it to be brutal, right?
But as opposed to making like jokes that are generalizations about a population.
Right.
But
I mean, look, I thought it was, I think that the woke bullshit is going away. I mean, when you have the leader of the wokes, Bill Maher, and
is he considered the leader of the woke?
Oh God, he's like Mr. fucking lefty, Democrat, woke guy. He is now coming out going, this is over. Like why are we doing this? And this is too far. And this is ridiculous. And so I think the pendulum, it continues to kind of go, oh, let's go, woke. Oh crap, we went too far. Pull back. And then at some point, we'll probably, when you look at the 70s, Rick, when you go back to the 70s and you got Don Rickles hosting SNL.
Yeah.
And he's making fun of the Puerto Rican, I hope you don't stab me, and hey, the Asian person, and he's going, oh, you're going, oh my God, this was on SNL?
Yeah.
And it was funny. Because at the end of the day, we're all humans, we're all Americans, and if we can't poke fun at each other, then we'll never be close, right? When you got Sanford and Son, oh my God, I don't know about you, Rick, but I love watching Sanford and Son. Oh my, and the racist shit that is said and the fun that they have with races. But how do you go from the 70s, which technically was the decade after Martin Luther King, to
the peace, love, and harmony era too. Isn't that weird?
To now, you can't say that, don't say that.
Yeah.
We need this and this, it's crazy that we went from the 70s to, oh my God, let's all stop.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that within my group of friends, race is not off the table. We talk all kinds of shit. And I will say that that's one of the reasons I love hanging out with our veterans. At Helicopters for Heroes, they don't look at each other as...
They're comrades.
They're brothers. They serve together. So the way they talk to each other is hilarious.
Yeah.
You know, and they say and do anything because they know that they love each other.
Yeah.
You know, Brad Garrett. I mean, Brad Garrett's an insult comic. He walks on stage but he does it with such charm and such class, and
He's so good at it.
so I'm hoping that we can go back to a world where if you don't like it, don't watch it.
Turn it off.
Turn the channel.
Yeah.
You know,
Swipe left or
different
up or down.
strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm hoping, Rick. I'm hoping that this roast says, hey, this can exist too.
Yeah.
This is okay too. It's like me as a Latino comedian. I have always said that I would like to represent all things that make up a Mexican American. And unfortunately in the media, the people that the media love are the ghetto. My dad was a drug dealer. I grew, I was on welfare. My parents are from Mexico. You know, they love to tell that narrative. Well, that's why I love what we do. We are Mexican American. We love America. We work hard. We come from amazing parents, right? We do not. My parents were not drug dealers.
Right.
You know,
we weren't on welfare.
we weren't on welfare, right? So I like that we can represent all things because, those other Latino comedians who are ghetto and my dad was a drug dealer, they need to exist too. And there is a audience for them.
Yeah.
Right? So we should all be able to coexist. And there's enough for everybody and enough going on that people can go, well, that's how I grew up.
Right.
And that's how I grew up. And I don't find that funny, but I find this funny.
Right. You can choose what resonates with you.
Or I find that funny and I find this funny.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Because there are some comedians that are so edgy, I don't find funny. It's too far for me. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if there's a world where abortion is funny.
Yeah.
I just, I'm like, can it be? I'm sure, but it's different strokes, different folks, different tastes, and I control my narrative.
Yeah.
And I control what me and you put out there and what we want to put out there. We get hit up all the time. Do you have to cuss? And then we're like, well, that's who we are. That's how we grew up. We have an edge.
Yeah.
We are not Chip and Joanna Gaines.
Yeah.
We're not them.
Yeah.
And
I went to New York to learn how to drop an F-bomb correctly.
in acting school. But there are some people that I'm sure look at Chip and Joanna Gaines and go, those are my role models.
Right.
That's what I want for my life. And then there's other people that look at us and go, yeah, we're like Steve and Renae. Like we're rough around the edges and, we're a little more open and, I don't know. It's tough because this woke culture has made people so afraid, Rick. That's what it is. It has made people very afraid.
Yeah.
Of like, oh my God, because fuck, man, it can be all taken away with the woke mob. I mean, one person and it catches fire, you're canceled.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's very scary. I don't know how we ended up here, Rick.
The woke mob. That's such an interesting. Yeah. But
they're not even
woke mob has taken over our country.
They're not even a mob. It's corporations and people are afraid. So even if it's like this one kid, and I forget his name or how he did it, and I'm probably gonna fuck the story up, but
but tell it anyway.
Well, no, but this one kid, as a joke, went after Trader Joe's as a joke. One kid, and Trader Joe's changed all the labels. One kid was like, "We're upset about this," and I think it was like salsa or something. Maybe Rick can find the story. He goes, "Oh, this is offensive to Mexicans, and I can't believe you did this label."
Yeah.
It was a fucking joke, and Trader Joe's was like, "Panic, hit the button. Let's stop."
Was it the cowboy caviar? I love the cowboy caviar. It's like a corn bean.
I don't know have you been able to find it, Rick?
Yeah, I find it. Trader Joe defends product labels criticized as racist, but I'd have to read this to.
Oh, It says Trader Jose. Did they put Trader Jose on their Mexican goods, like their rice and beans?
Yeah, Trader Jose.
But this guy was completely fucking joking.
Yeah.
And Trader Joe's got scared and panicked and switched it. So it's not a mob.
But that's
it's
like-
the fear.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I mean, and that one's so silly too. It's like Siete. There's a line of grocery goods that are gluten free, but they do specifically Mexican things like tortilla chips.
And by the way, just to be clear, my race of people, the Mexican American, we never get offended. We're the most unoffended motherfuckers on the planet. You know, we don't, oh, Speedy Gonzalez, we're like, we love him. You know, you put a sombrero on and a mustache, we don't go running to you going, stop stealing our cult. We don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
We are the most like laughing culture.
Yes.
We think everything's funny. We have a good time. Like we are Mexican American, and maybe that's why we don't get further ahead, is because nothing bothers us.
Yeah.
Right? We just keep working. That's what we do, But I want to go back to Renae. I watched Unfrosted.
What? I don't know what it is. What is it? Tell me what it is.
Did you see
I
it,
have
Rick?
no clue.
I did.
What did you think, dude? I got to get your opinion.
I found it entertaining because I didn't go in expecting much, but it is getting trashed. I found it funny.
What is it,
It's
y'all?
getting trashed. I thought it was. Let me see if I can describe it correctly. Absurdly, awkwardly entertaining. Did I put it together right?
I agree with everything you just said there.
It is the absurd. And Jerry Seinfeld did a joke about Pop-Tarts. And who invented the Pop-Tart. And who changed breakfast. Right? Who was it? And, he did this whole joke. So it is a mockumentary meets a Madman episode. I mean, it is the absurd. It is the absurd. I enjoyed it for a couple of reasons. Number one, I have several friends that are in the movie. I'm also a huge Jim Gaffigan fan.
I am too.
Right? And I'm not the biggest fan of Amy Schumer. So she was the only part of the movie that I was like, ugh.
Steve.
But Melissa McCarthy was, I mean, it is the absurd account of what happened as they were trying to invent the Pop-Tart.
Okay.
And it was a war against Kellogg's and Post,
Okay.
right? The two cereal giants.
Yes.
And them trying to, but if you go into it thinking to yourself, oh, this is a movie about the invention of the Pop-Tart, like you would watch the Hot Cheeto movie, where it was based in the real world.
Yeah.
This is not the real world. It is completely Jerry Seinfeld's way of going, I wonder if this is how it went down.
Yeah.
Right? Was there milk cartels trying to stop you from making the Pop-Tart because there's no milk in the breakfast?
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And it's just absurd.
So why are people ripping it apart, Rick?
Because it's absurd.
It's got 42 on Rotten Tomatoes, 50% audience rating. I don't know. I honestly don't know why. I mean, are people trying to think of this as like art, or I mean, it's like you said, Steve. It's absurd, and every aspect of it is absurd.
And it was funny. I mean, I laughed.
Me too.
I laughed at the ridiculousness. I mean, this idea that they needed to go find NASA people to come in and help make the Pop-Tart.
Yeah.
There's children in dumpsters eating. It is absurd. But it was fun. It was a good ride. I enjoyed watching it. If you have nothing to do,
watch it.
Yeah. But don't
not a good way.
Don't go into it thinking that it's this highbrow version of what happened when they were trying to. Jerry made it up.
Okay, I might pass on this one. What was that movie that came out last year?
Wait.
Where they like?
What do you mean? Why are you going to pass?
Well, because you're like, if you have nothing to do, like if I get an hour on a plane without kids to watch something, like I'm picky. I'm
No,
picky
but
about
it
what
was-
I watch because I don't watch a lot of TV.
But it was
or
good and it
movies.
was fun. And if you get into it, you find yourself doing this. Oh man, okay, that's funny.
But no, it was like that movie last year. What was it? Everything, Anything, All at Once.
That movie's brilliant.
You loved that movie so much.
Brilliant
And
movie.
it was just a little too wacky
Yeah,
and all over the place for me to
You have to watch it two or
really
three
love
times.
it. Yeah, you do have to watch it like two
It
or
is
three times. That's
that
true.
movie is brilliant. Would you agree, Rick?
Yeah, I think it's brilliant, but I will say this. Renae, if you watch Unfrosted on the plane, because plane movies are always better than they play, just because you're, captive, you will love Unfrosted if you watch it on a plane.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm also the same guy that wants to watch Oppenheimer. I've seen it 3 times.
That I cannot believe. That movie was so freaking long.
I love that movie.
And so serious and
Love that
intense.
movie.
I can't believe you watched it 3 times.
I love it. I'll watch it again. It's that one, and then for whatever reason, Otto.
Oh,
What
I was
it?
about to say The Notebook. Steve watches The Notebook.
That's our life, bro.
Over and over again. We
Renae-
were giggling about it in bed the other night.
Renae and I watched The Notebook for no reason, and I was like, "Oh my God, that is our life." Your parents hated me. It is literally our life.
When you pointed that out.
But I
it made
did
me
tell
giggle.
her that if Renee gets Alzheimer's, I'm out. Like as soon as she doesn't recognize me, I'm not. I'm like sweet.
You don't know who I am anymore?
I'm like sweet. I'm a famous comedian. Let me go. I'm out. Later, loser. Good luck. But I'll check in just to make sure that you still don't.
That my memory hasn't come back.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I'll introduce you to my new chick. I'll be like, here's my new girlfriend. It's my friend. It's my friend. And she'll be like, who are you? I'm like, see, let's go.
That's awful. That's terrible. No, I just think it's so stinking funny that here you're like this big macho man and your like go-to often is The Notebook.
Because it's a great, I love storytelling. And one of my favorite ways to tell a story in movies is the back and forth. I like when they go back to a period and then come back.
Yeah.
Which is why I was so bummed with the movie Elvis, because they would take you back, but then they would play modern music. I want to be in the world.
Oh, but that's like a Baz Luhrmann thing.
I don't like
He's
that.
He's about the soundtrack. He always has great soundtracks. I love the music.
I like good storytelling.
Yeah.
I like movies about underdogs. I cannot handle movies with betrayal.
Oh yeah, you get real angry.
It'll literally physically ruin me. Does that make sense, Rick?
You have a gut physical reaction to it.
It'll ruin me.
What movie?
Braveheart ruins me for several days. When Robert betrays him and backstabs him, dude, it fucks me up. Betrayal for me is an emotion that I cannot handle. The feeling of betrayal, seeing somebody betray somebody, it is.
Makes you angry.
I get so fucked up. Or when people don't do the right thing. The movie Troy, I will not watch that movie. That one wrecks me more than Braveheart.
Yeah?
Yes. This brother who knows.
And that's like Greek mythology. That's a theme that gets played out in movies over and over
But this
and over.
brother that knows that if he brings this woman, he's going to endanger his entire kingdom.
Yeah.
So then he does it anyway. And then he won't even fight his own fight. His brother has to go in there and fight for, I'm getting fucked up right now. Am I the only one that movies affect like that? Do movies affect you that way, Rick?
Yeah. Did you see Red Dawn?
Yes.
When they have to when their friend betrays them, that screws me up for a couple days.
Dude, like shit like that where they betray him and they thought they were friends, and it just, because I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I don't know why somebody, I don't know. I have strong convictions,
I was just about to say, I think that you don't have a problem being loud and outspoken. you will speak up through the sticky, tough, uncomfortable things that people don't want to. And I think most people just stay quiet. And then when you stay quiet, things happen without you being an active participant in it, but it still happens.
I mean, there's been situations for me where I get into a fight or stand up for somebody else, and then that other person bails.
Yeah.
And then I end up fucked because I was standing up for them.
You were the person who spoke up.
I spoke up for them. I ended up becoming the mouthpiece for them. And then they just kind of glide away like, oh,
Yeah.
And then I find myself in a situation where people go, well, Steve's the problem. And I'm like, well, I'm only the problem because I fucking defended that guy.
Yeah.
But it won't change me. I will not change, and I'm okay. And I was actually talking to a couple weeks ago when we did Portland and Seattle. We had Big Al, and I had not toured with Big Al in a while, and I will not say why, but again, that was me standing up to the way I live my life, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I had to stop working with him, but now he has fixed everything and has done everything right, and he's back. But one of the things that it was funny because he goes, Steve, these comics, he goes, they're so afraid to tour with you. And I go, why do you think that? And he goes, because you're brutally honest. He goes, and it's hard to tour with you because you will tell us exactly. He goes, but then I take a step back, and he goes, and as I've gotten older, I realized that you were right. I should have listened to you. And that you being brutally honest was what I needed. I didn't take the advice. I took it as like an attack.
Yeah.
And it's not an attack, right? I want them to know what's going on so we can get better and we can grow and we can move forward.
Yeah.
But that comes from my dad. My dad is brutally honest.
Yeah.
My dad has always been very aggressively honest with me.
Yeah. Well, that's a skill.
But I've learned to appreciate
to hear that and take it in is a skill.
You have to be able to take criticism, evaluate yourself, and move forward.
Yeah.
How do you do with criticism, Rick?
I don't. I hide.
You hide?
Yeah. No, I think especially in the entertainment business, you have to be honest.
But so many people aren't.
Well, yeah,
that's why shitty movies get made.
Bad movies get made, but also relationships and false hope. And Steve, how many times have you and I pitched stuff that just goes nowhere? And I'd rather hear an honest reason why than, we liked it, but we're just going to have to pass. Well, tell us why.
Yeah, tell me why. What's the issue? Right? What's going on? I remember, nothing I hate. The worst thing I hate is, hey, can you watch my set? And I go, yeah, I'll watch your set. And then afterwards,
I know what you're gonna say.
Afterwards, they go, well, tell me what you think. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
You don't really want to hear what I think.
Yeah, you don't really want to hear what I think.
Yeah.
But if you're going to ask me, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
I had a comedian come up to me at the Comedy Store. I'm not going to name any names. But he goes, hey, would you like to be on Comedy Central? I said, sure. I'd like to be on Comedy Central. And he goes, well, why did you say it like that? I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, you just said like sure. And I go, well, sure, I'd like to be on Comedy Central. I think it'd be cool. And he's like, well, why are you so indifferent about it? And I said, well, to be honest with you, I don't think Comedy Central makes or breaks my career. I go, sure, I'd love to be on it. I said, but I'm a grown man that talks about my wife and my relationships. And Comedy Central's demographic is 13 to 20. I go, I don't really think it's my demographic anymore. And they were like, oh, so you don't want to be on Comedy Central? I'm like, sure. If I ended up on Comedy Central, I'd be happy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I'm not like, woohoo, fuck yeah, I got on Comedy Central.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's not going to be a game changer for you.
And I'm not saying I don't want to be, but
yeah.
If I'm not on it, I'm not like, oh crap, I didn't get,
Yeah.
If Netflix came to me and said, hey, do you want to be on Netflix? I'm like, yes. Netflix is where people can find me, and I can be find that right fan.
Yeah.
But if I'm on Comedy Central and I mean this by no offense to Comedy Central because they're great. And I was on Comedy Central when I was younger. Comedy Central is where kids go when they're 13 or 14 to go, I watch Comedy Central.
Yeah.
No more Nickelodeon for me. Does that make sense, Rick?
It does. I have a question. Since you're talking about criticism and stuff, Renae, as a director, you constantly have to criticize, and it's people trying to please the director first. How do you deal with criticism?
She doesn't.
Well, what I was going to say when you were talking about how you were like brutally honest, I think through the course of our relationship, I practiced that skill with you, but also it's easy for me to practice that skill with you because I know you love me. Like at the end of the day, if you are picking at me for something or criticizing me for something or correcting something I did, it ultimately comes from a place of love.
But criticizing sounds so bad. Criticizing to me is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I guess it's more, correcting or pointing out.
Yes, that's the difference.
Something that I might not want to acknowledge.
To me, criticizing sounds like I'm not trying to help you.
Right.
I'm just telling you all the shitty things about you.
Right.
Right. And when it comes to comics, especially if I invite a comic on the road, it's because I love them. And I even try to tell them that. If you are here, it's because I think that you are great or have the potential to be great.
That it's worth your time.
Yes, I already like you. I already think you're great.
Yeah.
But these young comics, for whatever reason, and I will not take young comics on the road anymore. I am completely done with that generation. I will not take them on the road. Because every one of them, when I sat down with them and go, here's how you get better. Here's how this joke can be better. Dump that joke. Change this joke. You should do this. You should do that. This is how I see it. They think that I'm completely just criticizing them and telling them that they suck. When in fact, I'm going, I already think you're great. Let's be better.
Yeah.
And I've been in this business for almost 30 years, 25 years. I think I have some insight for you.
Right.
And I think I can help you get better faster. But instead they go, Steve's a dick. And Steve, and I'm like, well, I'm not being a dick.
And I've told you that before, not everybody wants a teacher. You love to mentor, you love to teach, and not everybody wants that in their life or is ready for it.
And I will admit that when I was younger, I was a terrible teacher. And I was a bad example. And I was not a good mentor. I was a terrible mentor. And there are comedians that toured with me back then that don't like me, and I don't blame them. And to them, I am sorry because I've never done it from a malice place. You know what I mean? But Johnny and I, Sanchez, Al, 2 weeks ago, gave me a note, and I took it. And here's a guy who is an opening act.
Yeah.
He gave me a note, I took it. That's what drives me crazy, is that I am willing to take your note, but when I give you a note, you're not willing to take it from me. And that to me is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the ego of the comic. That's what that is.
Right. But I would assume, Rick, as an editor, as a producer, that if you met a producer or editor that is where you want to be, I would assume that you'd shut the fuck up and listen, right?
100%. 100%. Did it my whole life. Absolutely.
Right. Same with you. If you met a director that directed 15 specials,
oh yeah,
would you not be smart enough to go
implement their
and if that person came to you and said,
tips, yeah,
hey, this is where you're making a mistake. These are the mistakes you're making. Do you look at that as fuck him, or do you go, oh, I'll fix those mistakes?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
What's going on? Somebody's outside. Is that you, Tatiana? You're just lingering. What's up? We're almost done, yeah.
Okay, just don't worry about it. It's not that important.
I just see Tatiana's body behind the glass.
Back and forth, their shadow.
I don't know. I guess for me, I've always been open to criticism, and I have lived my life learning from others.
Yeah.
I have lived my life trying to be better by watching and learning from others. So even though it doesn't feel good, especially when I was younger, I would take it in and go, okay. Like it's like
I just remember you. I remember like you telling me teachers always treated you like you were a fuck up. And so that sounds so bad. I hate to say it like that. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's true.
But because of that, you just always wanted to be better and you were open to advice.
always wanted to be better. I don't think I ever had a bad heart. I've always had a good heart. But I've been rowdy and aggressive in life, you know, and outspoken and funny and, you know, all those things. And sometimes I was a bully, you know, so I've learned from those mistakes. But yeah, I mean, I had teachers that, in the funny part, we've talked about it before, there's teachers that you had who went to the same high school that absolutely loved you, fucking hated me. Dude, Mr. Yao is the worst, and he loved you. And that guy full on treated me like shit.
Yeah.
As a child. When I look
Yeah.
back and I go, oh my God, that kid's 16. I'm a grown man.
Yeah.
And I see a 16-year-old and I go, that's a baby.
Yeah.
And this grown man who loved you,
Yeah.
like,
But then there's Mr. Helm, who you were like,
Love
oh,
Mr.
I
Helm.
loved Mr. Helm. And I just feel like, for whatever reason, I just felt like Mr. Helm picked on me. Mr. Helm just did not like me. We
Picked
did
on
not
me.
vibe.
but he wasn't mean to you.
Oh.
And he didn't go out of his way to sabotage you.
No, he didn't. He didn't go out of his way to sabotage me.
Mr. Yao did. Like, he was the head of student council. I tried to be in student council. He tried to get me kicked off. I didn't do anything. I wanted to be in radio, television. He was taught that class. He wanted me out. Like, it's crazy. But it always lit a fire. That shit lights a fire under me.
Yeah.
When people tell me no, it lights a fucking fire under me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, when I start a new business and that business doesn't go well, I don't bail on the business. I don't go, well, fuck it. I go, I'm going to succeed and I'm going to figure it out. And this business isn't going well, or this partnership with somebody's not going well. I'll get rid of that partner and keep going because I believe in what I'm doing. I'm going to win and I'm going to find that right team.
Yeah.
And I think Rick has been in business a long time. Rick, you don't always find the right team the first time.
No, it takes a long, long time.
You go through partners, you go through team, you hire people, they don't work out, you move on, and it takes a long time. And I think a lot of people aren't willing to take that ride.
Yeah.
They're not willing to first of all make the leap. Second of all, when it goes bad, to go ahead and adjust and fix and change. You know,
I made a mistake. Let's just fix it and move on.
right.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think people are willing to take that ride. You know, and I think, Rick, you've been through it over and over.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I've learned through the years is release the ego, that this is a team sport. Whether any business you do is a team sport. So if you can find the right team, that's how you succeed. It's never one person.
Oh, it has to be a team effort. And I like to let, as you guys know, I like to let my team do their thing. And I tell you why. Because if I am constantly bitching about something that I want, then you no longer have a team. However, when I do speak up, then the team takes it serious. Right? When I go to you guys and we're filming a special and I go, no, I want this. Then you guys go, he rarely ever forces his authority. But now that he is, let's give him, it's not worth, you're not going to give it to me if I'm fighting the whole fucking way. You're like, oh my God, like how, you know, we're never going to get there. But if I go, hey, I really want it like this, then the team goes, all right, Steve, 90% lets us do our thing. He's fighting for this. Let's give it to him.
Yeah.
You know. Wouldn't you agree, Rick, that if you're too much of a squeaky wheel?
Yes. So here's my criticism to you. How about every now and then you just watch your special, give some notes on it.
He has still yet to watch Simple Man from start to finish. And even if we're talking about snippets, I think he has only seen the clips that have been released.
I haven't seen them. I haven't even seen them all. But
And it went to number 2. Can you imagine if you watched it? It may have went to number 1.
no.
Do you think that we're like past the special release enough that you would sit down and watch it?
No, I will not watch it. And look, as confident as I am, and I am a very confident man, I'm still insecure, and it's very hard to watch yourself. It's I wrote it, I directed it, I produced it, I chose the blocking. It's hard and then I look at it and go, man, and then it deflates my ego because I was like, oh, I'm not good. I thought I was good, So it's hard, but it's. I have no problem with Brian coming to me and saying, or Rick saying, hey, this joke's not funny, or we're going to cut it, or, I hear you guys. Like,
yeah,
it's a tough thing. But criticism, I would say, is something that people should ask for it. People should, because 99% of people are full of shit.
Okay, so
they will not criticize you.
So I'm asking, as the director of Simple Man, would you watch it and give me your notes on my directing?
No, I thought you did a great job. And I think, going back to criticism, when you were producing Relatable, which was one of our first self-produced specials, you were not your best. And me and you sat down and talked about it. And at one point, you were offended and you were pissed at me for telling you the things I told you. But I will say that all those things have changed because you did hear that criticism and you did understand the errors in the way you handled that situation.
Yeah. So
to see you handle Simple Man in this situation and the way that you and Rick worked together, it was just phenomenal. But I think that had we not had the journey to get there, and the hard conversations that we had, that you would not have been the amazing director that you were, But I think that comes with criticism.
Yeah.
Somebody loving you enough to say, hey, this is where you went wrong.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree, Rick?
Yeah, I completely agree, for sure.
Okay, with that being said, we got to go. It was the weirdest episode ever. I hope people like it. I am Steve Trevino's my beautiful wife, Captain Evil, looking good in her little Captain Evil sweater. We have wonderful sponsors like Aztec Chevrolet, Uvalde Chevrolet. We now have Dodge. We now have Ford Goliad. We have Jeep. We have it all. Give Aztec a chance. Please go to their website. Give them an opportunity. We have Raw Western wear that I wear. We have Pick Cherries. Get that app. The coffee that we drink is Old Salt Coffee. Please continue to support. We love you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll see you next time.